Mute. Hi, I'm Charity.
Hi, I'm Sandy. Am I the only?
Wait. Am I unmuted?
Oh, am
I
I?
can't hear you.
Oh. How about now? No? Still no? Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you.
Hello, hello? I'm
Okay, now I can hear you. It's because my volume was down. Jeez.
Oh, okay.
I swear.
That's great. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I saw that you were off mute.
Yeah.
So how many people are usually in here?
Don't know.
Is this your first?
I've had 3 or 4 of these kind of trainings. So. And I saw you speak at the bigger network last week. Yeah.
The state of the industry thing.
Yes, yes. With the guy, Andrew. I got it in my notes somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was Mary Gilbert and Michael.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. I might have to put them in the bedroom. Actually, I think I am. I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay. Does everybody want to get off mute for a minute? Usually there's somebody here that introduces. Does somebody usually do that?
Yeah, usually.
That's me.
How many people are normally on this session?
Great question. I think it varies. We tend to have, I mean, I see like, anywhere from like 8 to 15, depending on the day, yeah.
Okay.
So I can, just pulling up juggling my stuff here. But yeah, we can, well, the first thing we could do is check in with everybody. How's everybody doing on their numbers and their goals for where you're at, your connections, contacts, database, all that good stuff? How's everybody doing all of that? Good.
I've been doing more getting my trainings done, doing like the code of ethics training for the board of realtors, and I registered for the RMLS code of ethics class.
Nice.
I ordered my first sale sign and got a lockbox, just like doing kind of like the stuff to get like going still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all important. You got to get up and rolling for sure. Any wins? Anybody want to share anything? Any wins that successes that they've had? Good conversations, anything? Anybody need coffee this morning, this afternoon? Some Red Bull? Should I send some virtual Red Bull around? Sounds like it. Well, good. As you guys know, this is an Ignite series class for, I don't know, actually, quick show of hands. Is anybody here just doing the Ignite series, or is anybody doing the full productivity coaching series? Is everybody, I'm assuming everybody's doing productivity coaching. Okay, just kind of checking. Ignite classes are open to anybody as well. And sometimes we invite guests from outside the company, but certainly anybody in the company, whether they're new or have been in the business for many years. Ignite, the goal of the Ignite classes is actually really, if you're doing less than about 10 transactions a year, or well, the numbers they would say are even higher than that. But I would say if you're doing less than about one a month, the stuff we learn at Ignite is relevant and useful. So we do encourage those people in the office that are, that want to basically ignite their business, get it really rocking. That's what this is about. So today's Grow Your Database class is pretty awesome because Charity is teaching it, and it's a cool class anyway. And one of the challenges with this class is there are so many different things you can look at when it comes to how to grow your database, and knowing that our database is really the value of our company. Like as a business, as a small business is what you are now, your only value is your database and how valuable you are to your database. The kind of value you bring, how well you keep in touch with them, and how often that they produce. You could say they, being the database, produces business or referrals or actual clients. So that's the only value your business has. And so it's really, it may seem like, work, or may seem like, why am I doing this? Yet the truth is, if you want to have business in a year or in 3 years or in 5 years, you have to be investing in your database now, or you're just not going to you won't have business. You'll be chasing right now leads your whole life. And that's just not fun. And it's inefficient, and it's just not a fun way to do this business, frankly. It'll burn you out quick. So Charity's been around for quite a while, 1997. That's a long time.
Thanks, Coach Eric.
It's actually only a few years longer than me, so I can say it that way. But the great thing is she's really dedicated to providing high service and value to her people, and taking taking it seriously, how she serves them and how well she brings value to them. And so it's a good person to learn this stuff from. And I just hope that this class is as valuable to you as I'm sure it will be to us as a company to have somebody like her teaching. So have fun with it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, everyone. So my name is Charity Crosby. Sorry, I can't see close up or kind of far away. So we get glasses sometimes on and sometimes off so I can see you or read. But this is my 25th year. I wish somebody taught me this year one. I learned this year, well, I guess 2010, when I joined Keller Williams. So one of I love database. So this is my absolute favorite class of Ignite, my most favorite, because I feel it is the most important class for your business. If you start this now, years from now, it's going to be a lot easier. So they actually changed this version. This is my first time teaching this version of Grow My Database. So I may jump around a little bit, and that's okay, but I'll always tell you what page I'm on. Okay. So today's outline is our database. So we're going to talk about building your database, feeding your database, communicating with it in a systematic way. Now, see how I put systematic way. And then how to service your database. You guys, I promise you this works. I was with Remax for 13 years before I joined Keller Williams in 2010. They taught me this database thing and this rate of return that you're supposed to get on your database. So I will mention this to you again, and you guys have probably heard it if you've read the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But for every 12 people that are in your database, you should be getting 2 pieces of business. I want you to write that down, please. For every 12 people in your database, you should be getting 2 pieces of business a year. Now let's remember, not everybody buys and sells quickly. So I think NRA is saying 7 to 10 years. I've had people in my database for 25 years that have never bought or sold their home, never bought or sold a home. However, they refer business to me, and we're going to talk more about that. So this is very, very important. By the end of this session, we're going to identify the key information you're going to need for each contact in your database. Determine categories. I think in your book, it says segments. I think they've changed that a little bit. So I'm going to interchange segment with categories, but for me, a category is a segment. For the contacts in your database, and building your business by asking your sphere of influence for referrals. Okay, so let me ask you, and FYI, when you take a class with me, it's very interactive. I will just call on you if you don't raise your hand. So, what is it you're hoping to get out of this class today? I'm gonna call on 2 of you. Mike.
How to grow my database, how to get more leads so I can generate business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And different ways to do that.
Okay.
The best practices.
Okay. Now, and Sandy, what about you? We will cover that, Mike.
I'm just looking where to start, and then also how to use the tags. I'm interested in that part.
The categories, let's
The
call them.
categories.
Okay,
yeah.
let's go. Categories, like tags, category segments, I'm going to call these categories. Okay. Because that's how I learned back in the day. So I want to know, and I'm going to ask you how many years you've been in the business so far, Sandy?
A month.
Okay, Ashley?
Since October 7th.
Oh, okay. Timothy?
Call me Tim. I gotta figure out how to go in there and change that.
All right, Tim.
Haven't done that yet, but I'm gonna say September of 2021.
Okay,
And I just came over to Keller Williams about a month ago.
good choice. Good choice. Emily?
Since October 10th of this year.
Okay. Tristan?
Been in for about 4 months now.
Okay. Amanda?
I've been in for about 2.5
Months?
Yes.
Phil?
Going on about 8 years now.
Okay. Jennifer?
About 3 months.
Fabulous. And I think Mercedes?
Yes, I've been in for 2 weeks.
Perfect. I love all the new people. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So in, well, when I figure out how to do it. Oh, yes. Is that 2 pieces of business per year for every 12 people? Yes. Now, and because I don't want to forget to tell you this, so I'm going to tell you these numbers up front because you'll see me reference them later. I mean, hear me reference, whatever. So what that means is obviously for every 12 people, 2 pieces of business. Maybe somebody wants an investment property, an Airbnb, they refer people to you. So there's lots of different ways to get these pieces of business. Now, this is with your sphere of influence. And we'll talk about this. Our sphere of influence are people that know us. Okay. For other types of prospecting, let's say if you were doing farming, okay. It's not something I would recommend for a new agent because it costs a lot of money. I mean, as a new agent, and 2, I've been in the business 25 years. By the way, I have tried everything. Billboards, farming, expireds, for sale by owner. The only thing I have not done is door knocking. Like I have tried it all. So I have found that the most fun way for me to do real estate is by working my database. And that is how I've grown my business. So if you were to farm, the rate of return is for every 50 people that you're farming, you should get one piece of business in 12 months. Okay, 12 months. So imagine how many people you would have to farm to. And these are just random people. Let's say you picked a neighborhood, some apartment complexes, things like that. So wanted to let you know that. By the way, so I don't forget, I am going to be typing in the chat box my email address. So if for some reason we don't get to something or I mention something and you want me to send it to you, just email me and I will be more than happy to do that. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so we're going to start learning about your database and how it affects your real estate business. So in the last session, I think you guys all took, it was lead generation. All the leads you gather have to go somewhere, you guys. Okay, it has to go somewhere. It has to be organized, it has to be systemized, and your database is that place. Here's what I want you to think of your database. Please, I actually call my database my business. Okay, my database is my business. 100%. So, now we're going to go here. So the pages are a little bit different. So you guys on your workbook at 6.2. So I want to read this because this is so very important. If you guys have not read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I would do so. You get a lot of stuff. So this is what Gary Keller says in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Your database is your business. Building up the number of names in it and a relationship with those names is really at the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. You're going to hear me talk about this is a real relationship building business. If you don't like people, this is probably not the right career for you. Okay, because we deal with a lot of stuff and you'll figure it out over the years. You'll figure it out. Here's an example. You know, my daughter, I thought fabulous. She would be a fabulous real estate agent. Oh my goodness. You know, she's outgoing, yada, yada, yada. Her first year, she cried every day. I finally said, listen, sweetie, you can't cry in real estate. Suck it up, girl. Okay, we got good days and we got bad days, just like with anything, but run your business how you run it. So we know that our database is our business. Without a database, you have no business. Simple as that. Please, from a raise of hand, who has started their database already? Okay, now I want to back up here. Your database in an actual database, not an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, sticky notes is not an Excel or is not a database. Excel is not a database. Okay, KW Command is a database, and you guys, it's free. So that's what everybody should be using. Take as many classes as you can on that. So I'm not going to lie. I have yet to use, I mean, I use it for my transactions, but as it's evolved, I realize that it's working better than the things I've used for the last 25 years. So over the next 2 months, I'm going to start transitioning everything after 25 years into this whole system. So, you know, I can put a contact in there and I can upload my transactions. That's about it for now. And also, so the number of people you have in your business will determine how well you're going to do. Okay, so that is why, you know, growing this database and having this database is the core of your business. You're going to learn today how you feed and care for your database, what you can do to stay in contact. And, you know, Keller Williams calls it a data bank, which I think is fabulous. I'm still going to call it a database because, you know, it's just in my vocabulary. It would take me forever to stop and call it a data bank every time. So, okay, let's move on. So in your previous session, lead generation, you got the kind of first taste of what a database is. And I imagine you guys talked about a few ways to add people into your database, right? So now I want to ask you all, how many people do you have in your database? Sandy? Okay, Ashley?
I have 33 in there so far.
Perfect. Tim?
38.
Tristan?
I have close to 90.
Fabulous. Mike?
About 20, 20-ish,
Okay.
25.
Emily?
Just added one more today and I'm up to 174.
Nice. Amanda?
I'm at about 110.
Okay. Phil?
About 250.
Fabulous. Jennifer?
I farmed a neighborhood, so I have about 400 total.
So what I'm talking about now is your sphere of influence. These are
Okay, sorry.
people that know you. How many
I
of those
think-
people?
I think it was like 130.
Okay. And Mercedes?
I have about 32.
Fabulous. Okay. So you guys, growing my database is kind of like a game for me. It's just fun. And it's even like, I have this goal that I want to get to a certain number by the end of the year. And I'm going to tell you some ways. Like I said, I'm going to go through what the book says. And then I'm going to also give you my opinion and just tell you how I do it. There are a bazillion different ways to do real estate, you guys. Pick the way that's fun and the way that you're going to be consistent at it. Okay. So, and sometimes I say things and we're like, wow, I've already talked about that. Okay, so your database, think of it as a container that holds the contact information of your leads and contacts. Leads and contacts are two different things. Okay. Contacts, you've actually had some sort of conversation. They know your name. A lead is a lead. When I first started, I knew nobody here. I moved here and I was 24 years old and I did internet leads. It was very, very expensive, but that's what I had. And that's what I grew my database with. Now there was a girl, she's a woman now. She's still in our office. We started the same time, worked for the same team for 9 years, started our own team together. And then I became the team leader for Keller Williams. And now she's back at that original team. But you know what she did? This is how she started her business. She took her high school yearbooks because she went to school here and she went to the university and the U of O and her college yearbooks. You guys, she built her database, started that way. That girl, and perfect prime in their 20s, mid to late 20s, people are getting married, wanting to buy houses. So, you know what, if you went to school here, geez, that's where I would start. Absolutely 100%. We distinguish people differently based on the permission to connect with them. So we talked about leads are people who have expressed an interest in a service or offering of yours from, let's say you did a social media ad, like a Facebook ad, or you're farming, internet leads, that sort of thing. Or maybe they just went to your website, they found your website. Contacts are the people you have a relationship with. They know you. Let's say they have your permission. I'm going to kind of talk to you a little bit about ways on gaining permission, because I think you're taught you have to ask first. Now, here's my thing. I don't send anything out that I feel is spam. I don't want to get spam. I only, whether I'm mailing, emailing, posting things on Facebook, I only post things that I feel are interesting. And, maybe they're not interesting to everybody, but for an example, lots of agents just like to spout off the NAR stats, National Association of Realtors. I don't know about you guys, but I could care less. Okay. I don't care what's happening on the East Coast. I don't even care what's happening in Portland for crying out loud. I do business in Lane County. So anything that I talk about and send out, it's Lane County, because the majority of my people live in Lane County. So sometimes, interest rates, that's a whole nother story, but, prices have fallen this much. Actually, let's look at our market action for MLS, and I'm going to show you how to find that, because that's a good thing to send out to your people. So many people, I feel that some of the most successful real estate people have done it this way. I have to tell you guys, I used to spend $6,000 to $10,000 a month on marketing, leads, those billboards, you know, SO, whatever, search engine optimization, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys, I spend $500 a month now. Total, all my marketing costs are $500 a month. That's it. Because I've really figured out what works and what doesn't. A billboard's fun, but you know, I mean, back in the day, 10 years ago, I was spending $1,200 a month. Who knows what they are now? So be really careful. Your database is just an amazing, amazing way. So if you guys want to turn to page 6.3 in your workbook. And actually, I'm not with the Crosby and Frey team. That was my previous team. I am now the Charity Crosby Real Estate Team Incorporated, but that's okay, Coach.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
You got all the other stuff correct. So we're all good. Okay, so would somebody explaining to me using this model that you see here on the page, okay, the lead generation and database model, where your database is represented? It's either going to be in the lead generation, relationship management, or client and referral loop. Jennifer,
Yes.
which area would you be in? Would your database be in? Would you consider your database being the lead capture at the top? Lead capture, lead generation, relationship management, or client and referral loop?
Lead capture or lead generation?
Well, your database is actually all about relationship management. Once you have them in there, it's building the relationship with them so that they will call you. Okay. The relationships that you build and develop will grow your business. So, and that is through new business, repeat business, as well as referral business. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that. A database keeps you organized so you can run your business effectively and efficiently. Okay, seriously, everything needs to be automated. When you get 5 to 10 deals going at a time, you know, your marketing just goes on the sideways. Everything needs to be automated. A database keeps a comprehensive record of communication. You guys, every single time I talk to somebody in my database, I put a note in there. So-and-so just texted me that, you know, she got a new job. I put everything in my database. You guys, I have pages and pages and pages of notes for some clients because I've had them for 25 years. Okay. I never worry about somebody else going and using another realtor. And it's because of the way I communicate with them. A database helps automate your tasks. For example, you can put, I think they call them smart plans on this. You can put a plan on it. So for example, all of my past clients are what's on an anniversary plan. So I get notified every January of everybody that's ever closed in January. Okay. I print them out at the end of the month, just one page. I just write there, I handwrite a note, and here's what it says. Steve and Tana, happy anniversary. You've been in your home for 17 years now, with a little smiley face. Hope all is well. Sign my name. I put a $5 Starbucks card in there and a $1 little scratch it ticket. Okay. People are amazed. How on earth do you know, how long I've been in my home? Like 17 years. I don't. The database tells me, you guys. I go up, I see what needs to happen on the 30th of the month. I print those things out and bam, done. Automated. You guys, if I had to search through my database of 500 plus people and try to figure that out, you guys would never get done. Never get done. Automation is the key.
Is
A
that command
well-maintained
that you have?
database holds value and can be sold if you choose to retire or close the business. You guys, I turned 50 last weekend. A week ago. I am now thinking about retiring. I mean, not now, but you know, in 15 years, I love what I do. So I couldn't imagine like wanting to retire early, but let's say I want to retire at 65. What I'm thinking about now is my database of this business. I mean, this business that I have that I can turn around and sell to someone else when I get ready to retire. I mean, could you imagine having a database of 500 to 600 people that know this one agent, trust them, whatever, and, you know, sell their business to you? That has become very, very popular. Okay, this is how we can do something like that. But your database has to be good, really good.
For the, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I'm just curious about the smart plans. I know that those are things that you can send out, like if you're going to send out an anniversary notice, but you're just using those to notify yourself, not send out a happy anniversary message to your database, or?
So you guys, I'm a little old school when it comes to certain things, and handwritten notes are huge. Okay, so my anniversary cards, I just get the names and addresses of each people, and it says year, whatever, year 3, year 4, whatever. It's one page. And so I print out that page, and then I like to handwrite. Okay, my anniversary notes. Did I answer your question, Phil?
Yes, thank you. So you're giving yourself the notices of these dates and then writing the handwritten notes.
Yeah, and it's set up to where all the information is right there. And so I just print it out and there it is. You know, I don't have to go search for it. I set it up. So it's part of what I do. You guys should have checklists for everything. I have a listing checklist. I have a pre-listing checklist. I have an escrow checklist. I have a closing checklist. On my closing checklist, it says, add them on to the anniversary plan. Okay. So it's all done within the checklist. I don't have to worry about it. They go 20 years, 25 years now. And there we go. Automation is the key. Okay, we talked about sticky notes are not databases, nor is Excel.
Can I ask one quick question?
Absolutely.
So I think, does Command have a way of setting up those auto generate anniversary dates?
Eric?
Yeah, all that stuff is programmable in there for sure. I mean, anything automatic requires data to be put in, right? I mean, so yeah, insofar as you put the data in, it is possible to have it run a smart plan that does that. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Now, if for some reason Command does not do that, you guys, let me know. Like I said, I'm transferring I don't, well, Eric says that it does, so I just need to figure that out. I might keep this one little database that I, pay $34.95 that I've had for 25 years. For that thing. I mean, to be honest with you, it's my business. I mean, I can't even describe it to you. Like when I think of this database, it is literally all my money. Okay. It is my 25 years of experience. And it's just, I love relationship building. Okay. I love talking with people. I love helping people. What we do makes me feel really good about myself. It just does. And I feel that I'm really good at it. And, we deal with different clients, and I hope you guys at some point sooner than later will take the DISC, learn about DISC. Eric, do they even teach that in Ignite anymore?
Not that I know of.
Bummer.
Such a good one. Yeah.
Okay. So
I took it.
And who knows what DISC is? Okay. So not many
They
people.
sent it to me when I just got started.
Okay. This
Yeah,
was
it's part of the onboarding we do to have people take and understand their DISC. And yeah, I don't know if I don't recall that we're teaching a class around it yet. We do talk about.
No, I didn't do class. I just did like the link that they sent me in the email.
Okay. So just like you have a DISC profile, every client that you work with has a DISC profile. Okay. Here's the thing, is understanding their profile. I'm going to just do a very basic 1-minute thing here on DISC. Okay. As you can imagine, I'm a very strong high D. Not a lot of people are this way. So I like things a certain way. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard for me to keep an assistant. I mean, I'm just this very like in your face kind of person. So D is dominant. I is influencer. Party girl. C, let's say compliant. Wait, DIS, sorry. S is, I can't even, geez. What does that stand for?
It's like you're
Sincere.
steady, you're
You're
kind of
steady.
your typical relational kind of grandma that has 100 pictures on the wall of all her kids, you know.
Yeah, so I like to call them, I shouldn't say this, but emotional people. My daughter's a total S. She cries all the freaking time. So, you know, and then there's C, there's compliant. So dominant, I don't know, the majority of the population are S, okay? When you're a D, sometimes it's very difficult to deal with an S because they're a lot more slow moving. I'm very fast paced. So when I'm sitting in front of a client, based on the phone conversation, I already know what their disc profile is, okay? If I go to their house on a listing presentation, you know what their disc profile is, okay? And I'll give it to you as somebody explained it to me. Actually, I think it was Bruce Hardy explained it to me this way, and I'll never forget it. So we're going to talk about driving. D's are in the fast lane, honking their horn, trying to just get around everybody, okay? I's are in convertibles on their cell phones, zipping in and out and waving to everybody, okay? S's are in the slow lane, not going over the speed limit at all. C's, which are like your attorneys, accountants, those engineers, they're in the fast lane going the speed limit. So the D's and the I's can't speed. Okay. Because they follow the rules. So a little quick on that. So you guys, another great thing you could do is learn what the disc profiles mean so that when you're sitting across from somebody, and you know, one person said, I remember I was teaching a disc course and he says, well, I'm not going to change my personality. I mean, I am the way I am. Okay. Well, let's see here. I'm a D. Very few of the population is a D. So how can I really have a good real estate business only working with the Ds? Okay. We have to, what I like to say is we adapt. People want to work with people they like and trust. Okay. They like and trust. So you learn to adapt. If I'm, you know, if I've got a D person and if I'm going to sit here and do a buyer presentation, do you think I'm going to go over every little thing? Absolutely not. They don't care. They're never going to read the pamphlet, the whole packet I gave them. Okay. They're just not. But if it's a C and they want to know every little thing, I'm going through everything in that packet and I know darn well they're going to read it. And so occasionally what I like to do is I'll put a mistake in one of my pamphlets because the C always finds it. Always. It's just kind of fun. And then when they say, I'm like, I was waiting for you to find it. So, okay, you guys, command is your database. This is the thing I would use at this point. So, and we talked about referrals. Okay, you guys, once you get going, I'm going to strongly encourage you to go to family reunion. I started going in 2010. It's been since I got cancer, I haven't gone, but about 25 to 30% of my business every year is outside referrals from KW agents. Okay. I will grab cards. I put them in an internet database. I'm not going to mail to everybody because what a waste of money. But I have a database that you can put them in there and just email this group of agents. You know, I get emails all the time. Oh, 25% referral, but I don't send that. I don't send think of me as for your referrals. I actually send them tidbits of our market. Okay. Because when their friend, family, past client says, oh, wait, I think I'm moving to Eugene. They're like, wait a minute. That one agent always knows what's going on with the real estate market. Okay, so think really hard about what you give people. Okay, so now you know the why of using the database, right? Let's talk about how you're going to make this happen. The 4 laws. We're on page 6.4. The 4 laws. I like how they call it laws now, to help your database. Build a database. You've got command. Okay, and you're going to add all your people in there. I'm going to give you your homework early, just FYI. Before your next session, all your contacts should be in command with categories. Okay, and we're going to talk about categories. You're going to feed it every day. It's just like if if I had a coffee shop and I didn't get new customers because people move out of the area, if I'm not building that. So when it says feed it every day, it means add to it every single day. I look through social media. I look through just people that I can think of. And I'm like, who's not my database? Even me, I'm still like always trying to grow this database. The bigger you have, the bigger your database is, the bigger your business is going to be. You're going to communicate with it in a systematic way, kind of like what I told you about the anniversary cards on their anniversary of their purchase. And you're going to service all leads that come your way. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, so the first law is to build your database. You've already started doing this, during Ignite. So here's what you guys need. You need name, phone number, email address, and mailing address. Okay. Now the reason for this is because we're going to talk about, I think they call it a 36 touch now. It used to be a 33 touch. In order for you to get that 12-2 return that I was telling you about with your sphere of influence, you need to touch them 36 times a year, not literally, figuratively, touching them 36 times a year through email, handwritten note cards. You could do mailers. 4 of those touches have to be phone calls every quarter. We'll talk more about that. So one thing that I added on this year is I actually leave a message for my client on their anniversary. So one call is always going to be their anniversary month. So not only are they getting a phone call from me, but then they're also going to get their little handwritten note card with the Starbucks card and the lotto ticket. Also in your database, like how you know them. I mean, I put, I always put, how did I meet them? Because you forget when you get so many people in your database, you're not going to remember everybody, you guys, after 25 years. So always put notes. I put notes all the time. There are several ways to add your contacts to command. So you guys can go to answers.kw.com and search Ignite Reference Guide. When you have a moment. And it's going to talk more about this. So what other things would you mention maybe in your notes section?
Maybe if they have kids and their birthdays or
Pets too. I'm a doggy mama. So pets too. People
any
love
additional
it.
information for you. Yeah.
Love it. Anything else? Amanda. What other kind of things would you be adding into your database about your people?
If maybe they have like a favorite something or other that came up in your conversation, you would definitely want to note that down. Like, oh, they really like yada, yada, whatever it might be. And then, you can use that down in the future to either bring it up or send them something along that category.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I had one of my past clients call me and tell me a few days ago that she completely changed careers after 15 years. I was like, wow, you know, and so we talked about her career and, you know, so that's something that I put in my database, you know, and a little note to check in on her in 60 days about that particular thing. Okay. Here's another thing. I was on social media. This was a few years ago, and I noticed one of my past clients, both of her daughters were getting married in the same summer. So first of all, I send her an email. This was before text. Well, I guess this is a while ago. So I sent her an email. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just saw your Facebook post. I cannot believe the girls. I mean, I knew the girls when they were in middle school. I can't believe they're getting married. And she replies back. She goes, yeah, after all this is done, Charity, we're going to want to sell the house. It's just going to be too big for us. So what do? I put a little note in there for after when I know everything's going to be going on, set a little, you know, reminder. I'm going to get notified. And sure enough, after that summer, by the end of the year, I sold their house, sold them another one, and both daughters bought houses within 3 months after that. So yeah, see how that works? Now, when you send things of value, and I'll go over what I send, but when you send things of value to your sphere of influence, people are more than happy to give you their info. Okay. So for instance, one of the things I send out each month, well, I'm jumping ahead. I don't want to jump ahead. I'm going to try to go with the book, you guys. Okay. So some other things you could put like their birthdays in there. Do they own or do they rent? Well, I already know that based on the categories I put them on, you know, Ford questions and other family members' names, things like that. Just anything that you want to remember about them, you know, like one of my past clients I just saw on Facebook that she's pregnant and the baby's due, I think December something. So I have a little, you know, note to myself on that day, gosh, I'm going to check in and see where she's at with the baby. You guys keep in contact with them in their lives. If they feel connected to you, that's the key. They need to feel connected to you. They are going to use you. Let's remember, everyone, buying or selling a home is the largest monetary thing somebody does, unless they buy some huge business, but most people don't. So it's very, very important to them to work with somebody that they feel comfortable with. Okay. So I'm going to read this thing about command. Now, again, you guys, also they have some command classes. I'm going to start taking the command classes to really learn all the stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff. It was just kind of overwhelming. So I'm going to kind of take class and class and class. But what it does, so you can enter your contacts manually into command. There's a way to sync contacts from a third-party system. It says like Google or Android phone or like iCloud. So your phone contacts, you could actually put in there. And you can import them using another system. So there's lots of different ways. So I would take the, you know, look at the importing class. You guys, everything you need to know about anything KW, there are YouTube videos on KW Connect. There are manuals. There's so much, there are classes. There's just an abundance of things, you guys.
I know there's also CommandCon coming up on the 9th. There's CommandCon coming.
Where is it coming to?
It says they're going to stream it in the marketplace at 8 a.m. It says November 9th.
Oh, was this the one I can or can't go to?
It's going to have
oh, wait, it's the
a bunch
8th?
of people. November 9th at 8 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the one. I really wanted to attend that, and I think that I had a conflict.
But
But if not, I'm going to look it up again because, you know, you guys, this is all free. This is all free for us. So we might, I mean, let's not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
All the top agents are using this, so it's pretty easy. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about building your database, you guys. So well, actually, no, we're going to move into feed because this goes along with feeding your database. So you guys understand you just built your database, right? Okay. And by next Ignite section, you're going to have all your people in there, those numbers that you gave me with categories / segments. Okay. Okay. let's talk about how do we feed our database? How do we add to our database? Okay. Boy, I may tell you things that people are probably, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Well, you can. Okay. So, feed your database. Okay. There are 2 ways to feed your database. Do you guys remember what they are? Prospecting and marketing. Okay. Prospecting to me is like finding people to add to my database. Okay. You know, I mean, that's, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of money. Prospecting to me, when I hear prospecting, it reminds me of internet leads, expireds, FSBOs, that kind of thing. Marketing, I market to my database. I don't prospect my database because I already know them and they're in there. So I market to them, and I don't spend more than $500 a month doing that. Okay. Let's just see here. The pages are all off on the new one. Okay. I want to start brainstorming, you guys, on who you can add into your database. Okay, who you can feed into your database that may not be there. So get your pen and pad ready, because I'm going to give you a lot, and then I'm going to ask you guys if I missed any. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why this is important. Now, my first 13 years, my first 13 years, nobody told me about a database. I was also of the, I don't want to be salesy. I'm not a salesy person. In my 20s, I feel like I was very shy. I was very, very shy. And I didn't know anybody here other than, I mean, some people at my husband's work and my, people at my daughter's school. Now, my daughter played sports. Now, in 2010, when I learned about all this and I took this class, and they said, you know what, you better add every single person who knows you into your database. And I'm like, oh, I dreaded it. I just dreaded it, because I thought, oh, these people are just going to think that I'm just, trying to get their business. Well, come on. I am. This is my business. Okay. This is how I make my money. Just like your hairdresser has their business, your doctor, your dentist, your attorney. So I took the rosters. Okay. No, I did not get their permission. However, here's the deal, you guys. Okay. And I'm going to go over this more when I tell you what I send out. I went through the rosters of her team. She played year-round team sports and in her high school friends. You guys, then do you guys know that you can look on the tax records in MLS to find addresses of people? Did you know that? I'm going to show you how to do that. Remind me, I'm going to show you where to find the market action and where to find the tax records. So basically, I had these parents. A lot of times they gave the address. Okay. If they didn't, I would look them up on county records and see if they owned a home. If they owned a home, there's my stuff right there. Okay. Here's a perfect example. There was a couple that my daughter played sports. Kids played sports with from kindergarten to senior year. The parents of this daughter never spoke to me on the field. And frankly, I thought the wife hated me. I'm like, boy, she never says hi to me, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. But you know what I did? I sucked it up and I put that family in my database. I'm not even kidding you. 2 weeks later, I get this phone call from her. She goes, Charity, I had no idea you were in real estate. 13 years. She had no idea. But how would she? I never talked to her about it. You know what I mean? I never gave her any stats. I never gave her even any good real estate information. So of course, how on earth would she know? So she says, listen, my mom needs to sell her house, and then we need to move her into a manufactured home in a park. All right. Did that. And then, so did the moms. Then they needed to sell a house. They bought another house and they bought multiple homes for kids to live in and to rent out. You guys, since 2010, I am now on my 11th transaction with them, and I'm now 3rd generation. It's my daughter's friend. So I have now sold their 2 daughters' homes, and now I'm listing one of them and then selling. See how this whole family thing can work? If you do a good job, you literally get the whole family. It's fabulous. You get the whole family. So you guys, all I did was add her into my database and start communicating with her. Frankly, she had no idea. You know, we think people know what we do because social media, not everybody's on social media. Not everybody sees our feeds, you guys. So it's very, very important to let them know. I also want to tell you, I read this somewhere. Someone will forget you every 2 weeks. Okay. Every 2 weeks. That's why I have 2 mailers go out every single month. One goes out on the 1st and one goes out on the 15th. Okay. One is an item of value. I give away, they're called cap cards. Brenda with marketing, design, and solutions, she actually used to have an office at the old KW building, but she works for every company. She does these things called cap cards. So last month, it was 6 free mini donuts. So, you know the Oh My Mini Donuts? That little stand? Okay. So she contracts, and there's one a month. She contracts with them. So let's say it's $6. Maybe the people who redeem them, I pay $3. So there's a discount, you know, so it's worth it to me to do it. Now on the back side is my information. It looks like it's coming from me. It's a mailer. On the 1st of every month, they get a treat. Sometimes it's a little mini pizza. Sometimes it's something from, I don't know, she works this all up. Again, this is automated so that I don't have to go and deal with these businesses and try to every year. She already has it done. Okay. I pay her for my postcards. By the way, she also does bulk mailing. So if you want to send things out, I mean, talk to Trent about this, but you have to have 200 for a single mailer to do bulk mailing, but a lot of people just might be only sending out 50 or 25. So she puts those all together so you can get the bulk rate on these postcards. Okay. So on the 1st, people love the treats, you guys, every month. Now here's another thing. You're like, oh geez, do I really want to spend that? Okay. I'm going to tell you, I send out 450 a month. Maybe 12 to 15 redeem them. Frankly, I don't want them to redeem them because it costs me money. The purpose of it is to give them a little treat. That's it. Just to give them a treat each month. Okay.
So you're saying you don't pay for it unless they redeem it?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Now there are some, I bet you the Oh My Donut things is I'm probably gonna get a lot.
Yeah.
Occasionally, like when she does the mini pizzas at Papa's, I might get close to 50 that redeem them. I mean, to be honest with you, it's worth it. They've been carrying around this thing in their pocket. Now, 2 weeks later on the 15th, I send out what I call my referral postcard. All it says on the front, and it's the same exact postcard, you guys. I don't change it up. And it says, thank you for your referrals. And on the back, it says, if you go here if you want a free CMA. Okay. Listen, you should never, ever, ever send anything out unless there's a call to action. A call to action means they're going somewhere to do something, whether your website, something like that. Okay. Always a call to action. That referral postcard, first of all, says, thank you for your referrals. So it's doing 2 things. It's making them think of me from their mailbox to the recycle bin 2 weeks after they got that one. Okay. I mean, we know that's where it's going. And the reason I don't change it, it's the same. It's the bright color. Nothing changes ever on it. Is they're like, oh, yep, there's charity again. Yep, there's charity again. Okay. Now, the second thing it does, it says, thank you for your referrals. Bam. Then that makes them think, oh, wait, have I given her a referral? And I've had that happen. Someone calls, geez, I keep getting your referral postcard and I have yet to give you a referral. I'm like, about who you could refer to me. Seriously, you guys, you need to make things so simple that you don't have to do anything. Okay. By the way, those are the only two things I mail out. And in January, I mail out a newsletter. Boy, we are jumping ahead into communicating your database, but like I said, I'm going to skip around because I don't want to forget to tell you some things. So I learned in 2019, the power of a mailed newsletter, you guys. Okay. So not everybody checks their email. Not everybody's on social media. I mean, who knew? I assumed everybody was on Facebook, but I had cancer in 2018, 5 months of chemo, summer of surgeries, and then daily radiation for 6 weeks. It went on for a little over a year. I shared the entire experience on Facebook, not on my business page. You guys, the only reason I have a business page is to do a Facebook ad. And I very rarely do that. Okay. So I post everything on my personal page. I don't post anything I wouldn't want my grandma or my daughter to see. I also don't ever talk or comment on anything political or religious. That is just my own personal preference. Because again, in the DISC profile, I'm not going to make everybody happy. If I'm talking about religion or, okay, politics. The key is, some people like, well, I have a certain opinion. That's fine. Run your business any way you want. I have just found that the way for me to be able to connect with all DISC, profiles is to do it this way. So I shared my journey, you guys. Crazy stuff started happening. I'm not even kidding you. People started reaching out to me. I had past clients that I had no idea had breast cancer. I mean, my database, the year I had cancer, grew by over 100 people because they reached out to me. By the way, I have no filters on Facebook because again, I don't talk about those two things and I don't ever put anything that I wouldn't want my grandma or my daughter to see. I feel that my Facebook page is my business as well. Look at all these influencers on Instagram who are making bank. I don't know, whatever they do on Instagram. I'm still trying to even, do good there. I'm not so good there. But our kids, they're all about Instagram. So you got to get on the bandwagon. A few months ago, and by the way, that was 2018. A few months ago, I get a Facebook message from somebody. And of course, I look him up, I don't want to be a creeper, but he says, I am not stalking you. However, you and I are Facebook friends. And I'm going to back up on the friend thing with Facebook. You guys have a whole nother social media class, but I feel that this is very important as you're learning about databases, the power of social media. Okay. So, like I said, just from that year, I grew my database of over 100 people because I connected with them. I have no filters. This guy, he's like, I'm an attorney here in Eugene, and my mother, died from breast cancer. Somebody told me about your journey, and he goes, so I've been following you ever since. He goes, I want to list my house. Okay, guess what? How simple was that? I didn't even have to do anything, you guys. There's another person to add to my database. Somebody actually reached out to me. Okay. It's why I don't post a whole lot of business stuff on my Facebook page, because people not necessarily care about my business. They care about how they feel when they're with me. Last year, you guys, this was crazy. At the really crazy time of the market, I wrote an offer on this upper end listing, and there were, I can't remember how many offers there were, you guys. There were a ton. I had a cash buyer. We were over like 75, but who knew? And I get a call from the listing agent. She goes, "You're never going to believe this, Sturdy." She goes, "Your offer money-wise was not even in the top 3, but the seller is accepting your offer." And I said, "What?" She goes, "She battled breast cancer 2 years ago." She goes, "She went and looked on Facebook, every agent that submitted an offer, every agent. And she said, I want this agent, I want this agent who's representing these people because she totally understands." Go figure, you guys. If you didn't think social media was important, and I didn't at first either, but now I'm on the bandwagon. Okay. And two, marketing also, prospecting marketing is really more passive. As you can see, the marketing portion of it, I'm putting things out there on Facebook, and then I'm like waiting for people to come to me. You also need to remember to engage. I don't want to go too much into social media because I'm sure you guys are doing that. But I do want to talk about who to add to your database. All these people that I'm gonna spew off, they've all either done business with me or referred somebody to me. Every single one, and most of them multiple. Now, this is very, very important. So first we're going to start off, anybody you give money to, you guys, anybody. My hairdresser, my divorce attorney, my oncologist, my radiologist, my doctor, my dentist, my eyelash gal. I mean, she did 2 million with me easily, her and her family a few years ago. Well, my nail person until his wife became a realtor, but it was a good 10-year run. Any organization. So I'm a CASA, a court appointed special advocate for kids in the DHS system. So when I meet other CASAs or the people at CASA, I put even my CASA families in my database, or, the foster parents, because they get their little free gift, and you never know when they're going to tell somebody. Honestly, none of my CASA families are probably ever going to be able to buy a house, but they know other people. And so here's the thing. I don't want you to think, well, will they ever buy or sell with me? Who cares? Who on earth cares? The goal is to build this business. And by doing that, you're building your database. Okay. If your kids play sports, they're friends. Boy, that was the biggest mistake. Man, I have done more with Caitlin's friends' parents after high school than I ever did with them. All your friends, your family. Okay, your family should be in there, you guys. Every single person you know. Church. Are you in a golf club? Okay, what am I missing, people? What am I missing? Oh, my lender, my whole house inspector. You guys, my appraisers. If they're local and they know me, they go into the database. I go to a chamber event. I meet somebody and we exchange cards. Guess what? They're no longer a lead, they're a contact because they just gave me their card. They go into my database. Okay. Who am I missing? Who else could you put? If your kids have a daycare person, they should be in your database. Okay. Who else, you guys? Are you part of any groups? Who else could you put in there?
Your neighbors.
Yes. I got my neighbors on either side, them across the street. Yes. Your neighbors. Absolutely. And here's the thing too, you guys, anybody you give money to and you think, oh, well, my whole house inspector knows hundreds, thousands of realtors. Mine does, but yet he refers his family to me. You guys just never know. Okay. So it's very important that you put absolutely everybody in there. If you pick and choose, you're limiting how big this business can grow for you. Can anybody think of anybody else you could put in your database? Okay. Oh, teachers at your kids' school. Yes, absolutely. And yes, I do have a checklist for absolutely every part of the transaction, every single part. I even have a buyer closing checklist, a seller closing checklist. Checklists are fabulous for this. Okay, you guys, I want to show you how to find an address on somebody. Now, let me ask you. So do you feel that you would be getting spammed if you got those 2 postcards every month? Now, by the way, you know me. I mean, you know what? I'll go to somebody's cabbie party and I'll get introduced and I'll remember their names. I'll be like, I'm going to go see if they own a house. They know me. We had a great time. Don't they want to get a free gift every month? Right? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't. I cannot.
Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Sometimes I lose it in here.
Now I do.
Now you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to go to MLS. I've already logged in. And I'm going to show you a couple things in MLS that Ignite doesn't show you. Okay, so search tax Maine. Now, if you had somebody's address and you wanted to find out their name, you could do it that way too. But let's say I met myself at a party. I know my name's Charity Crosby. If I don't know their last name, the host, what was Julie's name or what was Charity's last name again? Now, again, this only works if they own a home, right? And sometimes multiple people come up and, so sometimes I'll look on Facebook and I'll like, okay, so there's 4 Charity Crosbys, but these 3 have husbands, so I mean, sometimes you have to do a little research. So I'll look on, Facebook, are they married or not? And sometimes you just don't know. And, I just kind of wait. So what I'll do too is I'll send a Facebook message and I'll say, hey, I'll even show a little picture of like whatever the last postcard was that I sent out, like the free mini donuts. Hey, I send out a goodie every single month. And I so enjoyed meeting you at Julie's cabbie party and would love to send this to your family every month. Do you know, nobody's told me no, you guys, nobody's told me no. So that's a way to get their address. Okay, easy. I do it all the time that way. But I first check this. You go to Maine. And you guys, we can do lots of them, but I'm going to, I know Charity Crosby lives in Lane County. So I'm going to hit Crosby. Sorry, I've got to move my screen over because the Zoom screen is. Okay. And then I'm going to search. So you guys, all the Crosbys come up in Lane County. And now I'm going to scroll down until I find, oh, look, there's Charity Crosby right here. Guess what? Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's her address. This is when she bought the house. So you know what? I would actually put this person on an anniversary plan, even though I didn't sell them the house. Because I guarantee you, the agent who sold them the house is not sending them an anniversary card every year. Okay. I'll tell you another way to add people to your database. Okay. So I do what's called adopt a buyer. Can you guys see me at all or just my screen?
I can see you. I can see both you and the screen.
Okay. So what was I saying? Okay. So adopt a buyer, you guys. On all my listings, at the bottom of the checklist, it says adopt a buyer. And it says add to database. Okay. So now caveat here, you cannot do this if the buyer's agent was a KW agent. Okay. And do not do this if the buyer's agent is a relative. Okay. That becomes awkward. And they're a relative because they had to disclose that in the offer to you. Now they go into my database. They don't know me. I mean, they know who I am because they kept seeing my sign in the front yard. My sign stays there till the day of closing. So they know who I am. They may not have met me yet, but I start sending them all my things.
So can I just make sure that I'm understanding you correctly? So say you're doing a transaction and you're the seller's agent, you're sending your information to the buyer, even though the buyer had another agent, as long as it's not another Keller Williams agent or a family member.
I do.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was following. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And I'm not going to lie, you guys, I've gotten many listings this way because a lot of these agents do not communicate with their database in a systematic way. You guys, it's useless to build this database, add to it, and yet do nothing with it. But 9 out of 10 agents, that's what they do. Okay. So if you systematically, I mean, I have these people who've never met me, send me a little message on Facebook or through my website. Oh, we keep getting your things. Thank you so much. Nobody has ever yet, because I mean, I'm giving them something for free, for crying out loud, on the 1st of every month, something for free. And like, they may not like donuts, but I mean, they can hand it to somebody else. So, okay, so I wanted to show you this. Any questions about how you can look somebody up? Okay, now, I want to show you, do you guys know what the Lane County market action is? Okay, so I'm going to show you something. Here's the thing, I need to remember where I find it. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is statistics. Okay, if you guys go to statistics, and then latest market action report, scroll down to, sorry, I can't scroll down when you guys are covering me up, to Lane County. And voila, you guys. So I memorize 3 to 4 stats from this every time I get it. Why do I do this? Because I'm not kidding you. As soon as people say, know that you do real estate, oh my gosh, how's the market? What's it doing? You better have some really good numbers to be telling people. The key is to be the expert. Okay. Be the expert. So I'm going to tell you 3 things I always memorize. How many months of inventory do we have? Well, gosh, if you are looking to sell your house, I mean, it's a fabulous time with only 1.3 months of inventory. Less competition. The other number is days on the market year to date, 26. Well, an average time on the market is only 26 days. So wow, fabulous time to list. Now, when they say, well, gosh, I think we'll wait till spring or summer next year. Okay, let's look at this number right here. This is one of my favorites. In the previous 12 months, our average sales price has increased 11.5%. 12 months ago, you guys, that was 20%. Our appreciation has gone down from 20% to 11.5% as of last month. It is going to continue going like this. Okay, we're in a downward market. Now, we're not going to, and what I'm saying is appreciation. This is an 08 where prices are plummeting, you guys. This is just the rate of appreciation. 20% was way too high. On average, you guys, Oregon, since they have been, tracking it, it's 3 to 5% on average a year, if that tells you anything. We're just way too high. But sellers, this number's going down. So, I mean, do you want to lose another 10% in 6 months by waiting? I wouldn't. Okay, on a $500,000 house, that's a lot. This is great for parties. This is great when you run into somebody. I'm not kidding you. Somebody always at a party, always ask me. So you guys, I know these. I also, in a quarterly email newsletter, I will put some of these stats in there. And again, I use local stats. If you do business in multiple areas, I would send out the same email. Okay, any questions on that? Now I got to rush through this other stuff here. So how do I unshare? Unshare. Okay. Oh, stop sharing. There's a little red button that says stop sharing. That's nice. Okay, so back at it. Okay, so I veered off a little bit. We're going to go back into where we're supposed to be so I can get through all this. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about what kind of business you're going to get from your database, you guys. New business. That's when somebody says, in your sphere says, gosh, we're thinking about selling or buying. We're thinking about that. And they think of you. Repeat business comes from past clients. I mean, when they're ready to sell or they buy investment properties, even when people buy their forever house, there are still so many referrals and transactions that can still come from that person. And then referral business, that is, people who've used you, like, for example, last month, I helped this young couple, newly married. They had worked with another agent, didn't mesh. They were both very high S's, so very soft, I have to talk very soft with them, and I don't do any jerky movements thing. And it went lovely, lovely. And they were so appreciative. They said, gosh, Charity, you just really listened to us. What they felt was that the previous agent did not listen to them and was actually pushing them into purchasing a home that they didn't feel was right. So, and what I tell buyers, you guys, I'm not here to sell you a house. I'm not. I'm here to give you information and my knowledge and my experience so you can make the best decision for you and your family. You will know when you walk in the house if it's the right house for you. You don't need me to tell you. Okay. And I've actually talked buyers out of writing offers on houses because I just knew they were just frustrated and it wasn't the right house. So really listen to your clients about what they want. Oh my gosh. Then what was I saying? Sometimes I'll lose my train of thought. I want to get through all of this that they have. So that's the different kinds of things that, oh boy, past coworkers, you guys. Past coworkers should be in your database as well. You guys all have previous jobs, right? Put all those people in there. How do you ensure that your, database is going to refer to you? Well, we just talked about that. You're going to continually communicate with it, right? I mean, you're not going to stick somebody in a database. I mean, my people hear from me 2 mailers, okay? But then I interact with them on social media a lot or text. I mean, there was somebody, I just thought about her the other day. I don't know why she just popped into my head. I mean, she's a past client from like 15 years ago. And so I just sent her a text and I said, gosh, I hope everything's going well with you. For some reason, you just popped into my head this morning and I was thinking about you. And she's just, she's like, oh my gosh, it's so good to hear from you. I'm getting married. I mean, just on and on and on. So you guys reach out, when you have that person that pops into your head, seriously reach out to them. There's a reason for it. There is a reason for it. And again, if you're not talking to people, you're not going to be building your database and you're not going to be having transactions. Okay.
In the
Yes, ma'am.
emails going to your database, what are you putting in your emails to them?
So the only thing that they get via email, boy, back in the day, you guys, before social media, it was all email. A lot of times things go to spam. I only do a quarterly newsletter, and that is so that I can also send it out to my referral agents that are outside of the area. So I also used to do a lot of internet leads where I only had their email address. A monthly newsletter, if you just have somebody's email address, would be fabulous. Okay. I would do that. That's kind of how I started. But I don't do much email. I'll reach out to them via phone, text. A lot of my clients just like to text, or through Facebook. Or Instagram. I also want to talk about when somebody gives you guys a referral, reward that person immediately, not when it closes, because you never know if that's ever going to turn into anything. Okay. So when somebody sends me a referral, sometimes I'll either do one of two things: handwritten note, $5 Starbucks card, and a lotto ticket. Okay. Thank you so much for the referral. And then I'll keep that person updated. Boy, yeah, I'm meeting with them, because again, this is just more touches with the person that referred that person to me. You know what I mean? I mean, the worst thing is referring somebody out and you never know what happens, right? I mean, I want to know what happens. So, yes. So do that. The other thing I have, and this is just down the road, I have something called amcards.com. I think it's like $34.95 a month. Boy, I spend a lot of $34.95 a month, don't I? $34.95 a month. And it gives me credits. So you can actually send like these 2-pack gourmet brownies you can make a card, or they have cards there and you can write in it, on your computer, type it, whatever. It's a little bit more, it's about $15, but I tend to do that quite a bit, because to me, referrals, you guys, are better than somebody actually calling me, asking me, telling me they want to sell or buy. Okay. A referral is a step up from that, you guys. So you need to covet those referrals. Okay, so I don't have a lot of this time, so I might just skim through somebody. Most media, raise your hand. Okay, sorry, 1 second. I just want to make sure before I go off on my own stuff, some ways that you can get people's info. Also, you guys, if you have anybody that can give you a referral, let's say, so there are many places like realtor.com, you can send out a link and get a referral when you close on something. Zillow does the same thing. I'm kind of old school, and I just have like a referral thing that goes out in the mail and they can return it, or I give them the option of a link. Google reviews, even if you don't have any clients now, what if you had a past coworker? Their communication was fabulous, just to kind of get you going. People do look at reviews, you guys. So as your business continues, make sure you get a review somewhere from every person. Okay. In the previous 3 ways to communicate with your database. Hold on real quick. I'm just seeing if there's anything that. Okay, I like this one, you guys. So Gary Keller says, to succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with a database with the intent of building close relationships. If you do not want to build close relationships, this is not the business for you. I'm not going to lie. Okay. This is about relationship building. I'm not a one and done agent. Okay. there are agents out there who love to get on the phone. Their assistants get on the phone and they're cold calling for the first 3 hours of the day. I'm sorry, I would split my wrists. I will never do that. I'm not going to do that. I would not last in real estate more than a week if I had to do that. I just wouldn't. So I have found ways that make me comfortable communicating with other people. Okay. Social media is one of those ways. I personally think text is just fine. And here's why, especially D's. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want anybody to call me. I'd rather you text me. Okay. I don't want to be on the phone. I just don't. Now, if you're an S, you're a talker. You just love to talk and you want to talk about it. So in my database, as I'm working with clients, I always put what their DISC profile is. So by the way, that's another thing to add. We didn't talk about that. So the quote says, you must commit to frequent. That is literally every 2 weeks, you guys. Every 2 weeks, something should be happening, I feel. Okay. And here's what I want to ask. So how long must you commit to building these relationships?
The rest of your career?
Thank you. Thank you. Forever.
Yep.
Forever. You guys, here's the thing. You're going to come across some times where you're going to see somebody you knew that you talked to about real estate went up and used somebody else. That's a bummer. Happens to the best of us. First thing I would do is call that person and find out why. You are not going to learn until you find out why. And you know what? Here's how that phone call goes. Hi, Linda. I saw that you have your house listed. Congratulations. I just wanted to check in with you and see if there was something more I could have done in our presentation where that would make you want to have chosen me. I'm just curious, what made you choose the other agent? You can make it sound nice without like, why did you choose that agent? Why didn't you choose me? Okay, so Charity, is your adopt a buyer when you start marketing to buyers on the other side of your transactions as the seller's agent? Yes. Yeah, so as I'm closing out my listing file, my listing checklist for my seller, there's a few little things down there that says add the buyer of your listing there. You guys, some other things to add into your database as far as communication. When you buy or sell, especially buying, put in there what lender did they use? How much did they put down? What was their loan type? Was there anything specific that happened in that transaction? Because when they call you 7 to 10 years from now to list this, you can kind of put some, yeah, I don't ever call anybody back unless I've looked at them in the database. And I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, you bought it in 2017 or, it's just, people are amazed that you can remember things, but to be honest with you, I can't remember anything. Chemo fried my brain. Okay. So I have to write everything down. God bless databases. Okay. Otherwise I would not be able to remember anything. Okay. So one thing, apparently we just missed over. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about, so we talked about building your database, right? Command, you got it. Add people in there. Feeding it. You guys, this has to happen every single day. The first thing, so I have like a weekly checklist. On every day, the very first thing, it says 20 contacts. And it says 1 add to database. So that means I need to add somebody to my database. My goal is to add 5 people to my database a week. Okay. And I've been in the business 25 years. This is something we continue to grow. This isn't, oh, I just do this in my first year. If you want a successful real estate business, this is going to be your entire life. And I promise you, you'll be spending less money if you can work your business this way than a lot of people. Okay, bye, Amanda. She's got to go. Okay, so I want to talk about, remember we talked about category/segments. When you put your people in the database, we talked about communicating with your database and servicing your database. Servicing your database, you guys, to me is, I welcome people who just want to call me and ask me questions. Okay, I love it. I absolutely love it. If you're going to sell investment properties, if you're going to sell them to buyers or list them, please understand what the new 2019 laws are. Okay, in and out. I have taken listings where I have sellers have no idea about selling a property with tenants in it now. Okay, nobody has explained that to them. But I mean, I love it. I let people know that here's what I'm here for, a question. And let me tell you this. So some things that I offer to, I have this sheet, and it gets mailed out in January with my newsletter. And it says like, how can I help you? I mean, there's like a lot of things in there. Are you thinking about remodeling? I mean, are you thinking about, do you want to know like your rate of return? Should I remodel this or this? I love going to people's houses. You guys, that's an appointment for me. Okay. Because that gets me one step closer to a possible referral, even if they're not going to sell. I will go out to my past clients. I love them. I love my past clients. Most of my past clients end up being friends. Okay. So I love them. Servicing your client, having a client party once a year is nice, things like that. But let's talk about categorizing they call them segments. I'm going to call them categories. So I'm going to tell you what the book says, and then I'm going to tell you what I do. So a lot of people, when you add people into your database, you're like, okay, I'm going to categorize them. This one's a buyer. This one's a seller. This one I met at the chamber, by the way, because I did this. I have email addresses for these people. I had I'm not kidding you, like 10 categories, 10 categories, you guys. Now, as my database grew, and here's the thing, that buyer is not always going to be a buyer. They're going to turn into a listing as well. You know what I mean? So having these very specific categories, to me personally, made it more difficult. Okay. But some categories like, okay, your church friends. And the reason they do this is, okay, maybe you only want to send buyers information on buyers and sellers on sellers. Is Eric still on here? Okay. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And the reason is, just because this person got into my database as a buyer doesn't mean they don't know other people who are listing. Okay. Or who are renting. Why am I going to waste my money on, okay, this month I'm going to send this to renters, and then I'm going to send this to buyers, and I'm going to send this to sellers. Why, you guys? And in a moment, a listing can become a listing and a buyer. Or maybe they decide, nope, I'm going to take my equity and now I'm going to buy. So in 2010, when I came to KW and I simplified my database because I had 500 categories for everybody, and I don't know why I did. I didn't communicate with them any different. You guys saw, or I told you, these are the two things that go out in the mail, right? Doesn't matter if they're listing, if they're a seller, if they're a buyer, if they're a renter. I don't care. They get two things, and it's just for them to think of me. Now in the newsletter, I give a little bit of things for everybody. And even on Facebook, I might put a stat out there for buyers that's beneficial to buyers. I might put a stat out there for sellers, maybe for renters. Okay. One of the best things I recently heard, you guys, if you come across a buyer who is freaked out about the interest rates and they're a renter, okay. And here's what I say. I'm like, gosh, well, we've been super lucky to have these interest rates. However, on average, over the last 30 years, the average interest rate has been 7.7%. So we're actually below that. And guess what? If you're renting, your interest rate is 100%. Correct? Their interest rate's 100%. They get nothing. 100% of their payment is going to the landlord, not building equity, not getting write-offs. Okay.
And their payment's gonna or can increase when the
Well, yeah,
rent.
14.9% this year. I mean, in 2023, you guys explaining this to renters. I mean, I've had so many people, if I know somebody that's a renter, I literally will say, listen, can we sit down for 30 minutes? I mean, I just really, I feel that every person should own a home if they can. Now, not everybody can, you guys. However, so many people have been able to purchase houses that they never thought they could. My ex-sister-in-law, she never thought she could buy a house. She's been in her house for 3 years now. You guys, it's amazing. And this is what our lenders are for. We do not have to know these things. We don't have to get our buyers pre-approved. We just need to connect with them and help them and direct them to the right places, right? Okay. So I find too that you're getting a lot of information. I would pick a lender, sit down with them as well as an escrow officer, but you don't need to know the ins and outs. You just need to know the very basics on the loans. Okay. But I've got, I mean, I have my lenders like, well, I've got this new app and you can do their closing costs and a seller net sheet. Yeah, I don't want to. That's not my job. Okay. I don't like numbers. I'm not the title company. I'm not a lender. I'm not doing anything with numbers, you guys. Okay. That's what they're there for. So I spend my time doing what I do best. That's building relationships and helping people buy and sell homes. That's what I do. Okay. So now you could do all these categories. I'm going to tell you how my database is set up. They each have one main category and then one subcategory. Nobody in my database has more than 2 categories. Okay. The first one is past client or sphere. And that's just in case I want to run a list of all my past clients. And you guys, let's remember, everybody that you're putting in your database now is going to end up sending you some money, you know, eventually. So I personally find that categorize them, lumps them in one group when they're part of a big picture. So one or the other. Past client means they closed on a house with me. Sphere, everybody else, you guys, my mom, you know, other people, friends, anybody who has not purchased a house for me, but who's in my database. Now I'm going to tell you about the subcategories. Subcategories are A prospect, B prospect, or C prospect. Now my A prospects, and a lot of people will call this like their top 25 or their top 50. So I'm above that. I'm kind of working towards a top 100 at this point. But these are people that have done business with me multiple times or who've given me a referral, because I think that is just as good, if not better. So my mom, for instance, she doesn't own a home. She's not a past client. She's a sphere, but she's an A prospect because my mom gives me a lot of business. She tells me all of her friends. She tells everybody. Okay. Now here's the thing. Even though I know my mom's still going to refer to me, do you know that my mom's in my database as well as all my siblings, and they get the same exact things that everybody else does? I run my business systematically. I don't pick and choose. The reason I can do so many transactions is because it's systemized. B prospects. These are my past clients, friends, family who haven't done business with me more than once or who haven't referred to me. But I'm pretty darn sure that if they were going to sell their house or buy a house, they would call me. Okay. See prospects, or I have no idea. This might be the chamber person that I met and exchanged cards with. We had a little conversation and we exchanged cards. I have no idea if their niece is a realtor or their mother, who knows? But they go in my database. You guys, it's not our job to psychoanalyze, whatever, analyze whether someone should be in our database or not. If you know them, they should be in your database. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Okay. Now for me, it's like a game. I want to get these C's to B's and the B's to A's. So I treat it as a game. But again, after 13 years and I just had all these categorized and I realized, boy, they didn't mean anything. They were either my sphere, somebody I know, or past client, which, I mean, I know both, but they're one or the other. Okay, we've got some questions. What were the 3 things you always look for on that RMLS report? So I look at months of inventory. And if somebody has not explained to you what months of inventory, it is this. It says 1.3 months of inventory for last month. For an even buyer and seller market, you guys, we need to have 5 to 6 months of inventory. Okay. We have 1.3. That means it is still a seller's market. Until that inventory gets up to that, we're in a seller's market. Now, what does this months of inventory mean? This means at the rate buyers are purchasing homes, and if nothing came on the market for the next 30 days, we would deplete our entire inventory, you guys, of everything in Lane County, other than Florence, in 1.3 months. I have been in markets where there were 20 months of inventory. That's a freaking buyer's market, you guys, a freaking buyer's market. They can ask for whatever they want. I mean, sellers can't give their houses away when there's 20 months of inventory. Okay, so do you see that it's all about the supply and demand? The other one is appreciation. I mean, don't people want to know? I mean, people listen to the national news, you guys, and it freaks them out. Oh, the markets are falling, prices are not necessarily falling. They're just not appreciating at the rate they were a year ago. 11.9% of appreciation, you guys, is fabulous. Okay, when the average over the last 30 years has been 3 to 5%. So it's how we talk to people, okay, and how we explain this to them. The interest rates. I mean, it's always a good time to buy if you can afford the payment, always, because you can refi it later. I once refied my house 2 times in 6 months because that interest rate fell that fast. And then the third thing was days on the market. 26 days on the market now, year to date. I do year to date, 26 days on the market compared to last year's, which was 23. You guys, I don't need to know all the other stuff. I just need 3. I feel like those are 3 pretty good stats. I mean, then it talks about, well, listings decrease by this percentage. Honestly, people want to know, what's the inventory like? Like, how fast will my house sell? I mean, that's a good talking point. How many days on the market? I mean, I tell my sellers, if you're past 26 days on the market, we got a problem. It's a price problem. Okay, because everything is selling within this time frame, you guys. Let's see, months of inventory, days on the market, appreciation. Yes. Okay. So, any questions? We've got about a little bit of time. Was there anything that I didn't cover when it comes to your database, because now you guys are going to start learning more about like lead generating and things like that. But I want you to understand this database that you have is your sphere of influence. You'll hear SOI, sphere of influence. I just call it my sphere. Okay. My past clients are my sphere. Everything's my sphere. You know, just sometimes they're just categorized as, well, I did do business with this person, so I categorize them as a past client instead of a sphere. But everybody's getting the same thing. Okay. Because we never know when somebody's going to end up being a seller versus a buyer or need an investment property. You never know. So anything that I didn't cover that you would want to know about databases?
This might not be an exact question about databases, but for someone like, it seems like there's several of us on here that are basically brand new.
Yeah.
Getting those people into the contact or the connect, would you say that starting right off the bat, we should be sending them something like you're like getting some sort of system set up where you're sending them like the gift card or?
Yes. Okay. Gosh dang it. What page? So you guys go to page, where is it? Okay. You guys go to your page 6.10.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So you see, so there talks about the touches here.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate with value. So your leads, these are leads. These are people you don't know. And it tells you kind of how to break it down. Your conversion rate for our contacts. Okay. So our database, the people that we know, I don't put people I don't know in my database. I don't put, just because I got somebody's email address off my website, that's a lead. It's not a contact. Only contacts go into my database. Leads go into an internet database, completely different. Okay. I'm also not going to spend money mailing to people that don't know me. Why? I mean, I want to mail to people I know. Some items of value. We talked about the market stats, a seasonal prep checklist for homeowners. You guys, you can Google this stuff. Or if you have a whole house inspector, call their office and say, hey, what are some good things that people should check for before winter comes? You guys send that out. Okay. Real estate forecasting data. Okay. I mean, I can't tell the future, but whatever. Maybe somebody else can. You know, schedule of local events and festivals. Boy, local points of interest, chamber of commerce information. To be honest with you, yeah, no. I'm going to talk about a preferred vendor list, though. Ooh, I do want to talk about this. Okay, you guys. So here's kind of how I started this whole adding people I give money to into my database. If you're like, oh, I just feel weird about it, try this. In Word, you can make a document. I would call it a flyer. Mine needs to be updated, but I call it a preferred vendor list. So here's how I started off with my hairdresser, you guys. She's given me so much business. I'm getting my hair done this one time. And I said, hey, you know what? I put in all my seller and buyer packages. I like to put a preferred vendor list of people that I personally use. Now, I have people that are moving into the area or their hairdressers are moving out of the area. Would it be okay if I added you with your info to that list and then put it in all my buyer packages? I mean, and seller packages, free advertising. Oh my gosh, Trudy, yes, please. Absolutely. Then I decided to take a step further. Like 6 months later, I did a page on my website. It's not there now, but I'm going to redo it when this gets updated. Is a preferred provider list. Now, by the way, you guys, I can post that link on Facebook, on Instagram, well, whatever. And so then I went to her and I said, I put together this website of preferred vendors. Would you mind if I advertised you, as one of my preferred vendors, and I put a link to your website? Oh my gosh, Charity. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who's going to say no to free advertising, you guys? Okay. Now you're going to get all their contact information. I mean, they're a business, so you should have it anyway. But start off small. Literally in Word, you guys, start anybody you give money to that you like and you would refer to other people. Just like you want people to refer to you, you're teaching them how to do that. You understand? Yeah. Sandy?
Yeah. And you want to make sure that you're doing this with people that there's no kickback thing going on, right? You're not, you don't want to have a conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ask for it. Yeah. No, I mean, you guys, these are people in my database because I use them, I give them money, and I like them. I mean, the only reason I go to them or use them is because I feel they do a good job, right? So, here, not only my hairdresser, by the way, I do this with my hairdresser, doctors. I mean, people, I'm kind of an open book when it comes to business, because again, this is about building relationships. When somebody's moving in from out of the area and I can give them a list of, guess what, here's where, I know this sounds silly, you guys. I don't just put like my whole house inspector or an appraiser or a contractor, I put everyday things. Who do I get my insurance through? Where's my doctor at? Who do I get my hair done? My nails, my eyelashes, you guys. Reciprocating by you referring out these people, they're going to feel obligated to refer back to you. And by the way, every time I refer somebody out, I always send a text to that person, whether it's my lender or whether it's my hairdresser. I literally just sent her, hey, I've got this client. She asked, who did the color in my hair. Her name is this. Okay. So I'm not just spewing out, oh, I refer people to you all the time. I have specific names of people that I refer. Okay. And again, you guys, this referral thing, this is huge and important. And people that you refer to, they will refer back to you because that's a reciprocation. Okay. Any other questions? Do you guys feel like you could grow this database? Like you need to feed this database, right? Okay. And the homework is that number you gave me at the beginning of who your contacts are, they're all going to go into command under the appropriate categories. Like I said, you guys can do your categories any way you want. There's a million ways to do real estate. You guys find the easiest way. Don't reinvent the wheel. Half the stuff I used to teach seminars, and I'm not kidding you, half the stuff I got from like other agents on the East Coast. And I'm like, oh, let's try it here. It works everywhere. This stuff doesn't matter if you're in Oregon, doesn't matter if you're in Washington, D.C. It's all the same. It's one of the most amazing things about a real estate business is, mind you, I wouldn't have the contacts there. I could still run a real estate team here without being here for 3 months, having some help. But I could take what I learned and implement it in any other state. My daughter's doing it in Texas right now. Okay. She's going to just take everything and just do it there. All right. Any other last minute questions before we wrap this up? Okay. I gave you my email address. KW is an open door policy. You have questions on anything. I mean, that's what us veteran agents are here for. I'll put my cell phone number in here. Feel free to text me. Prefer you don't call. I'm kidding. You can call me if you want. Email me. Oops, I actually just sent that to Coach Eric. Okay, apparently I don't know how to send it to everyone, but everyone. No, I still can't send it to everyone. My phone number is 541-554-2999. 2330. And I put my email address in there. So if there's something you're like, you know what, Charity, I need a checklist for this, or what should I do about this? You guys call me, reach out. Would love to help. All right. Have fun with your databases.
Thank you so much, Charity. Thank you.